everybody, it's JimJ 1911. We are going to be doing a little video tonight on how to do a takedown of your brand new Springfield Armory Prodigy. And it's just going to be a quick little step-by-step of the takedown and the reassembly with a couple of hints and tricks along the way to make things a little bit easier for you. And so let's go ahead and we're going to put on our safety glasses and get started. All right, we are ready to get started. So first of all, we want to make sure we don't have a magazine in and our chamber is clear. Okay, we have nothing in there. So you want to make sure that when you are cleaning your gun or working on it, field stripping it, whatever you're going to be doing, you want to have your ammo stored in a separate location. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we're going to take our 5/32 hex wrench that's included with the gun. We're going to put it in the end of the guide rod and we're going to break it free, give it a half spin or a half turn. All right, and now we're going to take our slide. We're going to move it back to the takedown notch, okay? We're going to move it where the takedown notch lines up with the slide stop right there, okay? On the back side, you'll see this is the back side of that pin of your slide stop. So you're going to push that forward from the back, and then you're going to grab a hold of it and you're going to take that slide stop out. Now sometimes if you have a little bit bigger fingers, you might need to use some kind of tool or punch to get that out from the back side. Give you a little assistance. All right, so we're gently going to let this slide back forward and we're going to take it apart. We're going to put our frame off to the side. All right, so now you can see here's our spring. I'm going to turn this around. It's a little easier for me to work on it this way. Keeping my thumb on the spring, I'm going to put my hex wrench here into the end of the guide rod. Okay, and we're going to spin it and unscrew it the rest of the way. Now, you want to make sure that you keep your thumb down on that spring because you'll start to feel it buckle once you get that guide rod taken apart, and you don't want your spring to go flying. So keep a hold of it. And now I'm going to push my guide head in so that I can remove my spring. I'm going to take that out and lay that off to the side for a second here. And we're going to take this reverse plug out. Okay, lay that off to the side. And I'm going to flip my barrel link forward so it's pointing toward the front of the barrel. And I'm going to push it out through the front of the slide. Okay, so now you can see we have all of our pieces. I'm going to take this apart here. Here's our bull barrel with our ramp. Okay, and we have our recoil spring right here. We have our reverse plug, and you'll notice this has a collar on it, so that's going to be important later. And we also have the two-piece guide rod, okay? And you'll notice this guide head here is where you see these exposed threads. So this is what I'm going to recommend to you. After you're done cleaning, you're going to want to put oil right here. We've been using this Lucas Extreme Gun Oil, and it works really, really well. So this is not a cleaning video. I'm not going to show you how to clean these parts. You already know that. But once you get everything cleaned, and we already have cleaned this ourselves, you're going to just put a dot of oil on that. And that's going to help you next time you want to break this guide rod apart, these two pieces, it's going to make it a little bit simpler for you to do that. All right, and then the last piece that we have is our slide stop. So once you get those all cleaned, we can reassemble. So we are going to get ready to do that now. Okay, so now that we have, hopefully you've cleaned your gun and everything, cleaned all your parts, we are going to reassemble by putting our barrel back in from the front. Now you want to make sure that your link is forward still, and we're just going to slide that in just like that. And once that's back in, you can flip that link back up. Okay, make sure that it's seated in there so it's nice and tight too. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this reverse plug back in. Now, I mentioned earlier that it was important to note that there's a collar here. That's because this reverse plug will only go in one way, okay? So that collar is going to be toward the back side of your slide. So we're going to put that right back in, okay? And now we are going to take this guide head and we're going to put it in the closed end of the spring. Okay, you'll see that there's an open end to the spring and a closed end to the spring. That's where we're going to put it in. Put the spring back in the reverse plug. Now you're going to be putting this under tension, so you're going to want to hold on to it. Okay, it's important to make sure that this is nice and straight, because the next thing you're going to do is you're going to put your guide rod back in. So you want to screw that back in. Make sure that you put the part with the threads in first. Okay, get it lined up, and I always just kind of do as much with my fingers as I can, and then I'm going to put my hex wrench in there, tighten it up the rest of the way. Okay, now that's not going to go anywhere because that's ready to go. Now we are ready to put our slide back on the frame. First, I want to show you a little hack that I like to do, and you'll notice that I have a piece of electrical tape here right above this takedown notch. So I put that there so that when I put my slide stop back in, if it happens to move up here across the slide, it's not going to scratch my finish. All right, so you're going to take your frame and you're going to take your slide and fit them back together. Okay, now sometimes you have to gently wiggle it back and forth just a little bit to make sure that it goes back all the way. There might be a catch, and so sometimes you just have to kind of work with that. But anyway, now I have my slide stop. I've got this lined up here. This notch is lined up, and I'm ready to put my slide stop back in. Okay, and we are just going to give this a nice push, and it just clicks right back in. And now I can release this. And the next thing I'm going to be doing is I am going to do a function test on this just to make sure that everything is in working order. Okay, so to perform your function test, first of all, we're going to make sure that our back strap safety isn't pressed and our thumb safety is off. Thumb safety. If you pull the trigger, nothing happens, okay? If you put your thumb safety on, you press in your back strap safety, pull the trigger, nothing happens. All right, take your thumb safety off. You push in your back strap safety, pull the trigger, and your hammer drops. That means that you are fully functioning and you're good to go. You have your gun reassembled correctly. All right, so all that being said, I want to remind you, first of all, to hit the like and subscribe buttons. And also, don't forget about our 5,000 subscriber drawing that we're having to give away a Dillon RL 550C to one of our first 5,000 subscribers. All you have to do is subscribe and you're automatically entered. So that's pretty cool. I know everybody would like to have their very own reloading press. And so make sure you tell your friends and your family. They are going to get subscribed so that they're eligible to win too. And I look forward to talking to you all again soon.